For nearly a decade, Democrats, legacy media, and intelligence officials ran a coordinated propaganda campaign to destroy Donald Trump through deliberate fabrication. 8 lies exposed tonight with the receipts. We are starting with the most expensive political hoax in American history. Number 1. The so-called Russia collusion scandal was not just a smear campaign. It was a multi-million-dollar, years-long operation funded by Hillary Clinton and the Democratic National Committee, laundered through Perkins Coie, and rubber-stamped by media allies like CNN, The New York Times, and The Washington Post. The infamous Steele dossier produced by Fusion GPS was opposition research paid for by the Clinton machine. The FBI took this unverified document, hid its partisan funding from the FISA court, and used it to spy on Trump's campaign. Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, and their media echo chamber hammered the collusion narrative, fueling endless investigations and impeachment threats. But when the dust settled, the Mueller report, after burning through $32 million in taxpayer funds, admitted it. No evidence of conspiracy, no criminal collusion. The Durham probe later exposed the FBI's procedural failures and material omissions. This was not a misunderstanding. This was lawfare, weaponized by Democrats and their institutional cronies to divide the country and poison public trust. The receipts are public and truth is winning. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which coordinated lie disgusted you most. In second place, the Charlottesville Very Fine People, hoax, stands as one of the most egregious acts of media and political malpractice in modern history. The cold, hard facts are right there in the full C-SPAN press conference from August 15, 2017. Trump said on camera, "I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally." Yet CNN, MSNBC, The New York Times, and The Washington Post clipped out the condemnation, blasted the very fine people on both sides phrase in isolation, and handed Democrats a moral weapon. Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer seized the soundbite, repeating it endlessly to paint Trump as an apologist for racists. But the receipts are public. Trump condemned hate groups in the same breath. This was no misunderstanding. This was a coordinated smear, amplified by media allies and Democratic leaders to poison the country's soul. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which coordinated lie disgusted you most. Coming to the top 3, the so-called bleach injection scandal is a textbook case of media-driven panic. On April 23, 2020, at the White House COVID briefing, President Trump posed a speculative question to his medical team about whether disinfectants could be used internally to kill the virus. Within minutes, CNN, MSNBC, The New York Times, and The Washington Post plastered their chyrons with warnings that the president had told Americans to inject bleach. The full WhiteHouse.gov video and transcript show Trump explicitly saying, "I am not suggesting anyone ingest disinfectant." But the media and Democratic operatives like Joe Biden, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer ran wild, accusing President Trump of endangering lives. This was not a misunderstanding. It was a deliberate distortion designed to stoke fear and paint him as a reckless menace. The receipts are public, the transcript is clear, and the panic they whipped up was global. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which coordinated lie disgusted you most. Number 4. The so-called mocking the disabled reporter scandal is a textbook case of media character assassination. In late 2015, Trump's hand-flailing gesture at a rally was instantly blasted across CNN, MSNBC, The New York Times, and The Washington Post as proof that he was cruelly mocking Serge Kovaleski's disability. The clip went viral, and Democratic operatives from Hillary Clinton to Joe Biden seized on it, painting Trump as heartless. But the cold, hard facts are buried in the C-SPAN rally archives. Trump used that same exaggerated hand motion to lampoon Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, and even himself, long before anyone heard of Kovaleski. Even Kovaleski himself later told the AP that he didn't feel targeted for his disability. Yet headlines screamed, "Trump mocks disabled reporter," fueling a propaganda blitz that smeared Trump's character and divided the country. The receipts are public, the pattern is undeniable, and the lie was weaponized for years. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which coordinated lie disgusted you most. Number 5. The January 6th incitement narrative is lawfare at its most cynical. The cold, hard facts are right there in the full C-SPAN ellipse speech. Trump told the crowd, "Peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard." That line was cut from every impeachment montage, every CNN and MSNBC chyron, and every breathless op-ed in the New York Times and the Washington Post. At 2:38 p.m., as chaos erupted, Trump tweeted, "Stay peaceful." But media allies and Democratic operatives like Pelosi, Schumer, Schiff, and Biden ignored it. According to the Department of Defense Inspector General timeline, National Guard support was requested, but bureaucratic delays, not presidential interference, left the Capitol exposed. Yet the narrative was hammered home. Trump incited an insurrection, he refused to act, he orchestrated violence. This was not a misunderstanding, this was selective prosecution, a propaganda blitz designed to criminalize dissent and justify impeachment. The receipts are public. Truth is winning. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which coordinated lie disgusted you most. The so-called dictator on day one outrage is pure propaganda, manufactured for headlines and panic. The cold, hard facts are right there in the UN cut. December 2023 Fox News Town Hall. Sean Hannity asks, "You are not going to be a dictator, are you?" Trump laughs, the crowd laughs, and he fires back, No, except for day one. I want to close the border, and I want to drill. That is it. Border security and energy independence, 2 policy pledges, delivered as a joke, with the receipts on video. But CNN, MSNBC, the New York Times, and the Washington Post stripped away the laughter, clipped the punchline, and blasted out headlines warning of an authoritarian takeover. Democratic operatives from Biden to Pelosi seized the soundbite, shrieking about dictatorship and the end of democracy. This was not a slip of the tongue. It was a deliberate distortion weaponized to terrify voters and justify more lawfare. The receipts are public, the context is undeniable, and the only thing Trump promised for day one was to do his job. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which coordinated lie disgusted you most. Number 7, the so-called Terminate the Constitution scandal is a masterclass in manufactured panic. On December 3, 2022, Trump posted on Truth Social, "A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules, regulations, and articles, even those found in the Constitution." Instantly, CNN, the New York Times, and the Washington Post plastered headlines claiming Trump had called for a coup, while Democratic politicians like Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi thundered about an existential threat to democracy. But the cold, hard facts are right there in the archived post. Rhetorical bluster, not a policy proposal, and not even remotely possible under U.S. law. Constitutional experts lined up to point out that no president can terminate the Constitution, period. Congress even passed a resolution just to grandstand. The receipts are public, the legal reality is unambiguous, and the only thing this episode proved is how quickly media allies and Democratic operatives will twist hyperbole into hysteria. Like, subscribe, and tell us in the comments which coordinated lie disgusted you most. Trump's bloodbath line warned of auto industry job losses from Chinese electric vehicles, not violence, despite headlines stripping the economic context entirely. Across all 8 hoaxes, one fact stands tall. The evidence exposes coordinated lies, crafted by Democrats, media allies, and intelligence chiefs. Propaganda failed. Truth is winning. Like, subscribe, and comment. Which lie disgusted you most?